Morning. My name is Chris, and just a few points before I start. Yes, today I want to talk about the chatbots. I picked this topic because chatbots is getting more and more popular, and one of these chatbots are being now are commonly being used. For example, uh, in this Google's thing, we have a Y Combinator called Infedo. Infera received 3.2 million for a chatbot that uses deep learning to produce human-like text. So for example, it's trying to mimic human. And what's the use of this chatbot is the point that I'm trying to stress. And for example, I mean, as I say, I'm a lawyer, so the first thing that the lawyer does is that you look at a product whether it's going to cause harm to society. If it's going to cause harm to society, I mean, definitely there'll be regulations. Definitely. I mean, like, I mean, that's, but a subtle product like this, I mean, a innocent chatbot that you used, just let me have a look. So what we are looking at is probably a chatbot that find out what your employee is doing, is what I understand. Um, This is run led by ex-Google Facebook executive. So they have strong backers. This is a company in India. So it was the general partner and co-son. What's this guy's name? Blink Capital. Yeah, all right. So it's a software where you ask your employees to open up and tell them, right, experienced bot named Amber, which can chat with employees, analyze their sentiment, and find those who are unhappy or are likely to leave. I mean, these are very bold words. For example, but what are the problems from the law point of view? It's generally when you have a machine that is getting information from anyone, from your employees or from from your customers, all those informations are kept. It and it can be used against, I mean, the company itself. So you have to be very careful when you're collecting information from the customers or from the employees. And this one says it can analyze. Sorry, it says it can analyze their sentiments. So I don't know why do you need to analyze somebody's sentiment. For example, if you're building a chatbot to find out whether your employees are happy or not, um, what is the chances of them telling you? Uh, I mean, really telling you. So you may not actually know. But I have worked in many situations before, and I know that. I used to work in a mining operation. So we have what we call anonymous feedback system because generally people, like I said, people will not tell you what's happening in the company. So it's something like a whistleblower. But in this case, they wanted to chat with the employees. So if they're unhappy, it usually means a number of things. They're unhappy with the manager. It's the most common one, right? Everybody knows that. But there are much more sinister things. For example, it could be sexual harassment, somebody is doing something bad to another, or racism, or whatever. So your company will be in possession of information such as this. Of course, not every employee are so blunt. I mean, for example, for example, if they are in a relationship with someone, for example, with the bosses, right? They may not say anything. They will only say something when that relationship, you know, have problems and so on. So the question is that if you, as the employer, have information, um, and look, and after you have the information, you analyze all the sentiments and find out those who are unhappy or are likely to leave. You have to ask yourself, what happens if you don't act on those information? What responsibility do you have, um, and so on and so forth. So, so, so while it is very important, I mean, it's good to have such a feedback system because the normal feedback system that we have in a company, and they used to work in big companies. I mean, if the boss comes to you, annually, at least one time, and there's a couple of pages of information, and they go through with you each one of these questions face to face. It's a very difficult thing. I mean, for example, in the past, I used a translator because I was in Mongolia. I used a translator, and the way I assess them is simple because I check their translation with Google Translate, right? How, I mean, I mean, for example, if if I'm going to increase the salary, at least I have some basis, a baseline, and so on. So I mean, certain jobs there are ways to analyze how well your employee is doing, but typically employees they don't. If even if they have something to complain, I noticed that they usually complain about somebody else. Like for example, they say someone is having an affair with somebody else and blah 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 and so on. So you may end up with a system where you have a bunch of information that you're not sure whether is correct or incorrect, and worse, you probably have to spend a lot more money trying to sort them out. I mean, that's what I have to do. When I receive a complaint to the anonymous system we have to spend time. Senior management have to spend time looking at it, and it may even, I mean, it may turn out to be nothing, or it could be turned out to something. I mean, those are the things. I mean, the more serious stuff is probably um, espionage. If you're in a high tech company, those are the things that is quite common. Um, People stealing your codes and running away. So of course they don't say it, but that's what usually happens. And this is interesting. This is IBM talking about its case. Um, as I was saying just now, if you're not in, I mean, if you're interested in investing in startups, but you don't have millions and millions of dollars, and you're not a VC, the only way you can do is to invest in yourself, and that is you learn coding because that is the only language startups know, and you have to join a startup where the average age of your colleagues, you know, is just in the 20s. So this is a document prepared by IBM that promulgates the use of AI in human resource. So it's the same thing that they're talking about in as the previous one. They say enhancing candidate experience, blah blah blah. Smarter compensation planning, personalized learning, career development. I mean, all these are true if, I mean, of course, and once you collected all the data, I mean, you can analyze them, and I mean, if you see someone that is working very hard and very motivated, of course, you can redesign their employee package and make them even more want to work harder for your organization. But like I said, even a document that is prepared by IBM, um, they don't really deal with the legal side, as far as I know. So plainly, that is so it plainly is a marketing document, is and is not, as they say, is a business case. Um, So this is not good. I look at the third one. This is by a company called ChatBot Magazine. Um, I suppose they're teaching you how to build a superhuman HR team. And in fact, there are so many of these AI HR chatbots. Same thing again in video. Um, that you ask yourself. So when you join a startup, obviously, you have to ask yourself one question. I mean, like, I'm going to work for almost nothing for shit because I'm just getting the training. I'm going to be compensated by shares or equity, which have a vesting period. For example, I mean, look, you have to work for a certain time before those shares become shares. That's why we call it vesting. Typically, they want you to stay at least 5 years. Um, sorry, the majority of your shares will be around if you stay for 5 years. But the problem you have is that you don't even know whether the company will exist in the next 12 months. So, and if you look at that, and you will consider, uh, if your startup is not well funded, right, then you know, you may have to think twice joining one, especially in this area called chatbot AI. And the reason is is because there are superior technology. I mean, look, 3.2 million. Even you pump all this money into this chatbot, it's not going to produce a super AI bot. For example, the super AI bot is these people, the OpenAI GPT-3, and this is the super. And I think they're going to open up their system for anyone to use for a fee, if I'm not mistaken. It's a SaaS. Sorry, it's not a SaaS. It's open for anyone, because they basically have trained them, their chatbot, to understand quite a bit about human interaction. So it's a pre-trained transformer. So you don't have to start from the base. You can just use it, and it's just like your dictionary in Word document. I mean, Microsoft has already put in all the dictionary words, so it's just for you to use, and it will become like that. I mean, anybody can build on top of this, and so on. So the other one that I know is this one, the Rasa OpenAI conversational AI Rasa. This one is much more. I won't say simple. I cannot use the word simple, but it's also a platform where you can just test and experiment. Like if you read, these people have done it. You can just follow the instruction and you learn how. There's even a video, 1 hour video. So it's not that difficult. But what I want to say is that whenever you try to design or make a product, you have to be very careful. What are the legal implications? Uh, you know, and it so happens that I have actually worked, and I've dealt with cases. Like I said, we were using an anonymous feedback system. It's actually an email. I mean, the company is, because I was in mining operations. In mining operations, if those of you have never worked in one, you rely very much on your partners. I mean, people that you work with, because you are working in a very dangerous environment, and you're always very far away from your loved one. It's, mining is always very, very far. So you spend a lot of time with people that you need to trust. So if there's somebody has been doing some shit, or been drinking, or whatever, You need to know, and you need to take action. Um, Otherwise, somebody's health or even life will be at risk. All right, thank you. I'll be doing. I hope I'll be doing more. I'm just doing this from time to time when I see the need to. Thank you.